everybody. Okay, I'm gonna try.
So this is Heather Daniel Kent. People call her HDK. And she's a $1 million director from the Jan Thetford area. So just to give you some context, she's going to be having a guest, Lori Hogg. Has everyone heard of Lori Hogg? She's a makeup artist that does workshops and trains for a lot of Mary Kay things. So this is a top director that's going to be asking Lori Hogg about the new foundations. Just to give you some context. Here we go.
Again, this is like the real thing this time. And here we go with the TimeWise 3D foundation.
Loud enough?
The new loves of your life, I promise you. They are a game changer. So we're going to wait for everybody to get on here. I'm going to get Lori on here. You guys are in for a treat. We're talking about one of the very best makeup artists in the business. Lori Hogg is an international makeup artist. She is just seriously, first of all, she's the coolest in the world, but she's also extremely knowledgeable about everything makeup and skin related, and just a pro on Mary Kay stuff. So Mary Kay products are her jam. So I'm going to give her a second to get on here, everybody else a second, and let's just cross our fingers, say a little prayer that all of the technology piece on this, it's got me a little, like, unsure. So, excellent. I like the wild little straight eye. Remember that picture? Oh, and it's perfect. It sounds like we're next to each other now. Yay, yeah, ditto. Same here. Yay. Hallelujah. Okay, excellent. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for dealing with all sorts of fun technology opportunities, as Heather just said earlier. We are so excited to share the new TimeWise 3D foundations with you. Lori and I have been talking back and forth on Voxer for a couple weeks now, just like crazy maniacally excited about the opportunities that this foundation is going to give you as a business owner, if you're a Mary Kay consultant or director on the live with us, or if you're
You might just want to nerd out just a little bit on all of the information that Lori's going to share, because these foundations are game changers. They're game changers for your faith, they're game changers for your business, like they're just game changers. So our goal here today is to equip you, to give you peace of mind, to create confidence that creates excitement. So that is what we're going to do, and there's no better person in the world to do this with except for world-renowned international makeup artist Lori Hogg. So we are just super excited, super thrilled, and I've got some different things, like different questions I'm going to ask her as a makeup artist that really knows product and knows Mary Kay. So like she knows everything, but then her specialty is Mary Kay, and that's just like, it's all the things. So, first of all, a couple stats that I found, Lori, when we were just talking about foundation change in general, because some people, like, change is super scary. It's not at all exciting. It's really weird. And there could be a lot of, I guess, angst is a good word, to change something that already was really good. Because I was already a fan of our foundations. So, but these are some statistics in the marketplace. 80% of women are wearing the wrong color foundation. 80%. Here's another one. 91% of women are unhappy with their foundation. Wow. So, here we go. TimeWise foundations to the rescue. Here we go. Okay, so Lori, talk to us. One of the big differences that you and I have been talking about is consistency. Like, what does it feel like in your fingers? What does it look like on your face? Talk to us a little bit about the difference in consistency and how to maximize the consistency.
Okay, so the consistency right now, guys, is like satin on your face. And what Mary Kay has done is just rewired everything. So in my opinion, they've created one of the most flexible liquid foundations that I've ever seen on the planet, okay? Let me repeat. The most flexible foundation I have ever seen on the planet. And like, here's why though. So you all know we're going foundation hunting, if you will. You're with somebody, or you're doing foundation with your client. We'll put on some foundation. Maybe that client wants more coverage. Maybe they want less coverage, but they love the texture, and you're like, well, you know, with this bottle, it kind of, one size fits all, if you will. It's very hard to get less or more coverage from the bottle. Less, you have the chance of diluting it too much, watering it down and causing shine. Adding too much goes the polar opposite. Pasty, cracky, dry, dehydrated. So we did a little experiment this weekend, and it was amazing, you guys, amazing. My assistant and I both applied foundation. We're both different tones, but of course we use the same bottles. She likes a very, very sheer coverage, like more sheer than a CC cream. She even feels like sometimes CC cream can be heavy, and I was like, wow, you know, that's a really sheer coverage. And I, on the other hand, I like concrete. Behind this makeup, mind your business. Okay? I like coverage. I will let you see what I want you to. So, I'm not reading. I'm sitting here going, well, we're about to see with this how far we can stretch this foundation and exactly how much we can get it to perform. So we gave my assistant. She had the newer foundation brush. It was the newest one with the angle that just came in a set. The amazing synthetic hairs. Oh. So
The
she
blending
tried
brush.
that, and I tried the brand new liquid foundation brush, or we would say liquid, the brand new small oval foundation brush that just came out. And oh my gosh, you guys. So what I discovered really quickly was that we no longer need to change foundations due to coverage. You know, you don't need to go, well, this one just only gives me so much, and now let's move to a cream to powder, or let's add a mineral powder foundation. Maybe a little concealer, and it'll bump up the formula. That day is over with now. So what you need to do is utilize your tools, 110%. There's no reason for you really to jump out of another foundation because you're not enjoying the coverage, because now that means you just need to change your tools. So if you have all three of those tools, you can accomplish all of those looks. 3 tools, meaning first one would be for more sheer coverage is the new foundation brush that's round, but the one that's in an angle. So it was in the Mary Kay set. That's going to give you your sheer coverage. Your medium coverage is going to be getting that amazing blending sponge wet 13 times under the sink. You guys know. Squeeze 13 times underneath that sink. Okay. Sheer note. You spray the sponge with finishing spray before you start applying with the foundation. Your foundation will stay on for a month. Oh my gosh. Side note. Now, the third brush is the brand new Mary Kay liquid foundation brush, or cream to powder. Kind of does everything. So, side notes, y'all know how it goes. You know, you can use that brush for contouring and highlighting too. Oh, kind of amazing. If you haven't tried that, I'm serious, you guys. Tonight, lock yourself in the bathroom and play. So, with those 3 brushes, you can get I'm going to a soccer game, but I don't want to be undone, but I don't want to be too done because it's hot outside. You've got the medium coverage of, you know, it's a play date. Again, don't want to be too jazzed up. And then you have the beast, which I love, which brings it at any time, all the time, every time. So when I was looking through the ingredients, one of my favorite little guys, I was so happy to see this ingredient in there because I was wondering, like, where are we getting this feel from? What is giving me this satiny effect? And it's the silica in the foundation, guys. So in a nutshell, silica gives a silky effect to anything that it's inside of. The translucent powder is mainly silica, and that's why you get that unbelievably soft, smooth application. So I am all about these foundations, and I am really, really, really getting into the tools, and you guys will be shocked. So your homework tonight, y'all about to go in your bathroom, get all those tools together and play. Just pick a part of the face and apply and see how it goes. Sound good?
Oh my gosh, Lori, that is awesome. So the new one, this blending, do they call it a blending sponge? Is that, no?
Yes.
Oh, that what it is?
The brush or the actual sponge?
The new one, what's the new brush called?
5 seconds. I have like 9. I just got them.
How come I didn't bring that into my little
I love she comes back and she's like,
I am telling
duh,
you what, like,
it's a blending brush.
I have to put concealer or under eye corrector or something over the top of that foundation, our old foundation for treatment. I don't have to. What is that bad boy called?
That's the blending brush. Amazing.
creative. Where did they come up with it?
I mean, it is what it is though. I mean, that's like, I should have known that. But yeah, so it's my favorite tool right now.
It is so cool. And the bristles, like I thought it was a sponge when I first got it. And then I'm like looking closer and it's little tiny brush hairs, super soft. And I'm like, I don't have to use concealer over the top. It's just full coverage.
Amazing coverage.
Amazing, amazing.
I kind of feel, I want to say that usually a mineral powder foundation brush has like 14 to 16,000 hairs in it. My guess, I'm just guessing, don't hold me to it, but my guess is this brush is easily over 20,000 hairs, which is going to give you that insane buffing ability that any other brush really can't do unless it has that many hairs. And they're so fine. So streaking, anything of that sort is completely out the window. This brush won't allow it.
Yep.
Not happening.
And it's so quick. The way, I mean, like I just applied it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just completely, just so fast with the full coverage. It's just not that beautiful concrete, don't look behind the curtain, kind of thing. It's really quick and you don't have to spend so much time creating that look, which is wonderful. Okay, so that is, so don't worry because it feels thinner. And I think there was a little freak out of, oh my gosh, this isn't going to give me the coverage that I need, when it's completely the opposite. It gives you more flexible coverage, as you said earlier. Oh, they want you to show the brush up close on the camera.
Guys, okay, let's get it. It is amazing. It is amazing. Phenomenal.
So cool.
Phenomenal.
How do you want us to clean it, Lori?
Okay, so you all know the Mary Kay brush cleaner is my favorite. Y'all need that Mary Kay brush cleaner Monday through Saturday, every party, every time. I don't want to say every time you touch your face, but because it is for
Monday through
liquid
Saturday.
and powders, bacteria can set in pretty quickly. So I personally suggest cleaning this at least every 2 days, depending. Now, if you use a lot of foundation, you might want to give it a good clean once a day, but at least once a week. Really get in and go down and give your brushes a deep cleansing. Deep cleansing. You guys know what I prefer? Dawn. You're like, what? Yeah, Dawn. What they use on natural disasters when it happens around the waters and ducks and penguins. So if they can swim off and be okay, my brushes are like happy.
I love it. Okay, and just so somebody asked, the new foundation brush retails for $16 and our new foundations are going to retail for $25. So there we go. Okay, so let's transition into matching because these are completely different, like just, start over again. And so I'm somebody who just thrives on change. Like I love change. It's an obsession. I want everything to be different. Well, these are different. And you open them up and you're like, I no longer know anything. And so now I have to relearn everything. So they are now numbered in intensity. We've got ivory, beige, bronze, and then we have cool, neutral, warms to back them up. So it's a 3-part matching. Tell us a little bit about just our new system and how we're going to want to learn.
Okay, so this is what we're just going to go with. Start with the warm, cool, and the neutral. Because the biggest panic is, but now you all, this is the biggest panic with even artists across the world. Artists out there, don't get mad at me. I'm talking about the beginning when we didn't understand this, okay? So it is a very difficult, it's easy, but it's difficult because you can kind of overthink it. So put it this way, we're going to break it down as simple as possible. Do you know the majority of women know if they're cool or warm? On accident, okay? But it's just as simple as this. How many of you like to wear silver eyeshadows? Not. Heather, can you pull off silvers and grays?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bada-bing. Okay, cool. So those we like to consider more of our cool girls. Sound good? Now, warm girls, how many of you like to wear golds and bronzes and much more warm toned cinnabars? Okay, we love some cinnabar. So that is going to be based more on your warm skin tone girl. Okay, and right in the middle is the neutral, and you're like, who is she? The neutral girl. Again, she's the one who goes, well, that's weird. I can wear silver or gold, just depends on what we're talking about. Right, there you go. So that would be our neutral girl, and she is the one who gets to swing back and forth with no punishment. So us warm girls that try to wear cool tones, you know how that turns out, and it is not a masterpiece. So that's easy, but we'll tell them, because a lot of people think we're talking jewelry. Not so much. Gold, silver jewelry is completely, totally different, but we're talking more on the face. Women are very, very clear if they prefer goldy, orangey, warm tones or silvery, more cool tones. And that is a really great step to kind of help you guys jump right in with that. And then breaking down the foundations, I'm just want to like put a blanket on a fire real quick. So some of the foundations you may look and be like, oh, there's not that many in matte that I was hoping for. So here's the thing, all is good. Mary Kay, what I'm seeing happen is a blend of olive and yellow. So instead of, having nonstop yellows, nonstop olives, and trying all these different colors on people, one bottle pretty much consists of both. So there's no need to have 15 different shades because they are now in one bottle. Does that make sense? So here's the other thing. There's going to be the pigments, you guys. How Heather started this and was talking about change, and she's like, I love it. I'm like, girl, you take it. You can have it. I'm one of those old school. Everything in my house is sentimental. I got straw I used in the first grade that I still haven't thrown away. I have an issue. Change, okay? So I'm owning it, all right? So change really makes me mad at quite a bit. So, but here's the thing. The only time when I'm good with change is when it's better. When I have to make a change and I have to go less than what I was just receiving, that's when it's a problem for me. So what I'm realizing is, like you guys know, TimeWise foundations are insane, and that's why there's a mix in with the 3D, because this new 3D skincare line is changing lives night and day. So to think about TimeWise and 3D having a baby and creating color with it is insane, insane. So when you use the Mary Kay skincare, when you use these two products together, you will see results, how do you say it, and a finish like you've never seen before. Because all Mary Kay's products are meant to be married together. They're all best friends. And that is not so in every line. So sometimes you get a new product in, mix it with another product, and all of a sudden these two decide they don't want to hang on your face together. They're going to start breaking up. And that's not what you see within this line. You can still use the CC cream underneath these new foundations, and it is amazing. But here's the thing. TimeWise took a step down from full and medium coverage pigment-wise, not performance-wise. It jumped up like 15% easily, hands down 75%. But the pigments, the colors, in the medium and full coverage were very strong. So if it was yellow, it was really yellow. Pink, it was really pink. So in TimeWise, it was like, let's give some color, but not as much as what was in the full and medium coverage foundations. So what's happening now with these new foundations, I'm seeing a massive drop in pigment, which is not a bad thing, which means that everybody should be able to fit in a few tones. That if I accidentally put a pink on, you're not going to notice, neither will I. Does that make sense? Oh, it's amazing. So, y'all, take a breath, go on vacation, breathe. Life is about to get easy.
It is true. It looks complicated, and we can very much get bogged down in the amount. Like there are 6 ivories, there's 13 beiges, and there's 9 bronzes. But as I was playing with them these last couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, you could be that. You could be that. You could, like, there's really not a bad decision in there, because once again, let's go back to your word that you use, flexible foundation. Flexible on matching as well as actual flexibility, I think could be really good. And because I'm a neutral girl, I was very impressed with the amount of neutrals that we have and how, like, because in our old TimeWise, there was a couple that you could really play in there. There is a ton that we're going to be able to do some more flexibility with in there.
100%. 100%.
Yay. Okay, so now let's hit the last thing that we're going to talk about is the finish of them. The matte versus luminous, and oily skin, normal skin, dry skin. We are just launching mattes right now. Luminous is going to come later. So right now, what is our best course of action for all of our different skin types, and how are they going to react to them? And talk to us about your experience thus far.
Cool. Well, this is easy. This is easy. And for some of you luminous wearers, all's good. Because some people are like, oh no, it's not coming until August. It is all good. We can look at the calendar. And if you guys think calendar time, we're about to go into our hottest season in all states around the country. So even oily girls in the summertime don't love to wear all the luminous because it can melt right off depending on where you're at in the country. So no need to panic. Luminous is actually coming out in the perfect time that it needs to, which is fall, and that's when our skin really starts to change. So what we're going to do right now is super duper easy, and this gives you full on control. If you have matte skin, girl, you're going to rock this out. No sweat at all. Now, if you are wanting the luminous, I've got a little kind of trick for you. So what you're going to do, you're going to apply your skincare like normal, apply your primer like normal, and go ahead and apply the matte. You're like, oh, yes, girl, trust me, apply the matte. Now, what skincare did you use? What moisturizer did you just finish using? Okay, you're going to take that moisturizer. You're going to use just a little bit on your fingers, no biggie. We're going to rub those bad boys together, and you're gently going to pat apply. Deal? What's amazing about this, you guys, is that now you get to control where you want your luminous at. Cool? So not everybody's going to foundation. There you go. I know somebody that loves
No,
the
you do it
luminous
after.
in certain
So you do your
areas.
foundation,
Go ahead
and then
switch
you
out
put it on,
using
and then you're
so
tapping it
we're just gonna
in.
go
And that's
right
why you can
to
put it in the
one
specific
stone.
areas you
Apply
want
that
luminous.
mask and use that moisturizer
Or
on the
olive oil if you
areas
need.
that you like to see that luminous type of shine. And you're done. You're done. There's no need to add different products. There's no need to go hunt and search for anything. That's going to hold you off in a beautiful way all through summer. In August, you'll be ready to rock and roll. Sound good? Oh, so I've got to throw this out there for my matte girls. Okay, so some of you matte girls that don't have dry skin like me, y'all are like, I don't know what she's talking about. For the rest of us girls that are like, hey, we look dry, but we demand matte. Here's the thing, it's all good. No matter what my skin does, I'm always going to wear matte. That's just how I was raised. So as you can get over it. What we're going to do is with this new brush, especially guys, there's a little secret trick, cool? And it's not even a secret trick. It's more like, do you want to see how much you can benefit? And it's insane. So you're going to use your skincare. You're going to go ahead and use your primer. But when a dry skin girl, when we are using our moisturizer, sometimes we have a tendency to allow it to absorb, and where you touch the skin and you're like, it's dry again. Don't do that. Let's go ahead and moisturize the face properly. Sound good? We don't want it dripping wet, but we want a nice little slide. And once the primer is on top, those two together, again, it shouldn't be a mixed moisturized mess. It should be that if you touch your skin, you can kind of feel, I don't want to say sticky, but yeah, we want to feel the moisture, if that makes sense. So when you use this brush and the new foundations, it's going to help you slide instead of stand. The drier the skin is, the more product is going to collect in an area. Does that make sense? So do yourself a favor, dry girls, just hydrate. Don't be scared of it. The girl that's like, I don't wear moisturizer and I love my dry skin. Hear me out, sister. I feel you. I'm with you. But I'm telling you, sometimes when you use a moisturizer, you benefit 1,000 more times with your foundations than you do if you just let the foundation go on dry, raw skin. So just throwing that out there for my dry sisters. I got your back.
Love it. Well, I'm a oiliest, oily, disgusting, oily. And I'm telling you, I'm not getting that oil anymore throughout the day. Like, I'm going to touch up like I normally do, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, it's not separating on my face at all. It's so happy. Everybody's going to be so happy.
I love it. Like Mary Kay, you just solved all my problems. Like all of them. So I appreciate you guys. Go Mary Kay.
Yeah, it really, they did. They did such a good job on this launch. I hope you guys are as excited as we are, and we'll continue to dive into just testing it and working it with yourself, because the best way to learn is hands-on. Like, I will never forget, when we launched the TimeWise foundations multiple years ago, the prior ones, it was the biggest jump in my life that I'd ever seen up until that point, because I wanted to be an expert. I believe that our customers deserve for us to become experts on our product line and on skin and on matching and all of those things. So I would challenge you guys to dive in to become experts. What I did is I did 30 stripe tests, 30 faces, to play with them in a 7-day period. Like, I wasn't messing around. I was like, you know what? The more things I can touch, the more people I can put this on, and like, ooh, let's not do this, and ooh, let's do that, and we'll learn, is the better expert you'll become, the more confidence you'll have, and the more you can share that confidence with others. Because like I said, I believe our customers deserve that from us. So dig in, dive in, play. You're going to be so impressed. If Lori and I have gotten our socks rocked, I guarantee your socks are going to be rocked as well. So Lori, any final statements and things you want to say to these lovelies?
Well, I just want to point out, if you all have not noticed, what I've noticed through this, that you got Heather and I who are on totally different ends of the spectrum. She's oily, I'm dry, she loves change, I'm like psycho, no. So my point is, if we're happy and we're on, she's way over there and I'm way over here, you guys, I mean, it's heaven in the middle. It is heaven in the middle. Come join us.
Come join us in heaven, because we are in heaven. So thank you guys for watching. We'll continue to answer some of your questions on here and share away. Bye, guys. Thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Heaven. Love you.
Love you.
Hi everybody, I'm really excited to introduce the Mary Kay Blending Brush. Our most densely packed brush blurs imperfections and creates all over full coverage. We believe that expertly designed brushes can change your makeup game for good, and this little multitasker is no exception. Let's take a closer look. The first thing I want to point out is the oval shape of the head. This shape, coupled with the dense bristles, is designed to give you more control of your foundation application, allowing you to achieve beautiful, professional results at home.
Yes, I love it.
And it's so easy to use. I'm actually going to use this to apply my foundation primer first, and I'll just squeeze what I need directly onto the brush. Then, use circular motions to apply it where I need it the most. Next, using the same brush I just used to apply primer, I'm going to place my liquid foundation directly onto the brush. You could also dot the foundation directly onto your face using your fingers and blend the product in from there, or even use the back of your hand as a palette. It's a matter of preference, and for me, I like whatever is going to cause less of a mess. A little really goes a long way with the TimeWise 3D foundations, and I'm using the Ivory W160.
Okay.
Then I'll gently apply it in short sweeping motions until I've got the look I want, starting in the center of my face. You can also use a circular motion to blend in the product until you've got your desired coverage. The blending brush works great with liquid, but you can even use it with the Endless Performance Cream to Powder Foundation. All you would do is sweep the brush directly onto the foundation, like this, and apply it to the face. Now, if you asked me whether I preferred the blending brush or the liquid foundation brush, that would be a really tough choice. First, I would have to say it depends on the level of coverage I want for that day. The blending brush provides a fuller coverage, whereas the liquid foundation brush provides a little bit lighter to medium coverage. Second, they have very different shaped brush heads with different length bristles, which makes them feel different on your face. You'll notice with the liquid foundation brush, the bristles are more flexible and have some give, whereas the blending brush bristles have less give. They even feel different in your hand when you hold them. So it becomes a matter of what your customer prefers, because they are both fantastic application tools. Now, I always feel like I need to clean the tools I use for foundation more frequently than my other brushes. So for daily cleaning, I spray some of the brush cleaner directly on the bristles until they're thoroughly dampened. Then brush it over a tissue or a paper towel to remove any excess moisture and wipe away the residue. After that, I'll reshape the bristles, which for this brush, the bristles are so densely packed, you don't need to do a lot of reshaping. Then lay it flat and let it air dry. I also recommend deep cleaning all of your brushes once a week with warm water and mild soap. Doing so will extend the life of your brushes, and they'll just work better for you if they're clean. There are so many options you can offer your customers for applying their favorite Mary Kay foundation. Most of them will probably want to have multiple options in their makeup bag so they can choose based on what kind of coverage they want for any given day. I know I do. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, one more information training question, frequently asked, whatever. And then we'll go over, and Sherry's gonna help make like a color wheel and all sorts of fun stuff. And then we will all match you, and you'll do one of those pictures. Have you seen on social media how people have done the couple different colors on their face, and they say, have you found your perfect foundation match? So you can send it out to customers and have it be also like a pick and bite sort of thing. So anyway, I was like every single time I'm like, oh, I need to stay over here. Okay, so they didn't really go over, okay. The way that she explained how to figure out whether you're cool, neutral, or warm, I personally wouldn't necessarily recommend that. I would go the way that Robert teaches, because I think it's more solid, because people can like things that don't really go with what they're supposed to.
Look good in
Yes,
pictures.
and they don't. I've seen lots of people wear silver that I wouldn't recommend. So to me, that could be a question you ask, but the first question I would ask is, do you burn, do you tan, or do you burn and then tan? Okay? What do you do when you go out in the sun? Do you burn, do you tan, or do you burn and then tan? Okay?
It depends on the time of the day, like the afternoon, 2 to 4 is the longer race.
No, it's, if you're out in the sun, do you
burn in the morning, but I don't burn in the afternoon.
Right, but you still can burn.
Okay.
If you can burn, it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Okay.
Yeah. If you burn and then it goes to a tan, then you're going to be, okay. So if you burn and you go back to the color you were originally.
Red and then white.
Yeah, if you have two colors, pink and white, you are a C. Okay, you are cool undertone. You could then say, do you like wearing silver or gray eyeshadow? Because not all cool shade people like to wear different colors. They might still like the safe neutral brown colors. You know what I mean? So to me, the eyeshadow is not quite perfect.
It's a cool fun fact.
It's a cool fun fact, and you can ask that. But I would still ask first, do you burn, do you tan, all that stuff, okay? So if you burn and you go back to the same color, you are a C, okay? Whether you're ivory, beige, or bronze. If they say they get red and go back to the same color and they're an ebony skin tone, so if they're like really, really dark pigmented, and I was like, how is that going to be C? There are still people that say that they will get a little bit of a reddish hue, but they will go right back to the same color that they are. They will be a C, okay? So don't get confused that, because they're beige skin tone, that must mean that they tan. That's not always the case, okay? So always ask, what do you do when you're out in the sun? Do you burn and then tan, or do you just burn and go back to the same color? That is a C, okay? If you burn and then your skin deepens, you are an N. I don't do that. This is technically alphabet, I know that. So that's an N, okay? So you're an N and that's neutral. If you burn and then you're tan, or you go to tan, or your skin tone deepens, you're going to be a neutral.
Which
that means you
yellow.
Yes, which is yellow. Yeah. And for me, for those of the people that were in Mary Kay when we were medium and full coverage, and Robert taught us what the numbers were, I loved that. It made it so simple. And then when they changed to all the numbers that had no idea whether you were cool,
It's like shot in the dark.
like. Anyway, this will make it so much easier, and then the numbering system gets deeper as you go. Like it really is way easy, and then you have cool, neutral, and warm. Like it totally happy day. Okay, so neutral is you can burn sometimes. It doesn't mean that you always burn, and sometimes if you don't stay out in the sun too long, you won't burn. And one of the things that I have found, especially here in Utah, or some white women want to say, oh, no, I never burn. when maybe they wear sunscreen,
Yeah.
maybe they don't stay out in the sun very long. Right? So you have to take that with a grain of like your also knowledge, right? But this is a place where you start and then you stripe test them, okay? So if they say, oh no, I never burn, you can still try a neutral and a warm undertone if you want, okay? Then if they say, oh no, I never burn, I only tan, then it might be a W, okay? I'm just saying. Still sometimes they might be an N or a W, okay? But those are the questions that you want to ask.
So essentially W is an olive,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
So for those of you who knew pink, yellow, or olive undertone, pink is cool, yellow is N, warm is olive, okay? Some people, I think, with olive, they think that it means green. No, it doesn't. It just means you're a deeper
olives.
yellow. It's a more yellow, okay? But the other thing with foundations is 80% of people, she said 80% of people are in the wrong undertone, but 80% of people are going to be yellow undertone, which is why there are more N's in our foundation line. Okay? So odds are, if you have a question, start with an N. Okay? If you don't know what they are, or they don't know, they're out answering kind of weird with the, burning question, start with an N. But ultimately, you're going to want to stripe a couple different colors. So you might as well ask them the question and then do an N and a cool, or two N's and a cool, or an N, a W, and a second W, or whatever. Based off of their questions, you'll know kind of where to start, okay? So there are these.
Do you want me to explain that?
Yeah, Cher, will you explain those?
I was just going to go through. Basically, if you look at the numbers here, you can.
Go ahead.
Is this Robert Jones's?
Yeah, but I had a conversation with him, and that's why it's kind of a little bit weird.
Cher, why don't you just explain
Take it away, Sherry.
Yeah.
So, many years ago, I did the other chart. You guys remember the short little chart?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is his, and it's a combination. So if you go to Julianne's website, Robert Jones, all of his updated, like the total conversion chart, pass these around, and then this is the depth chart, so you can see it. You can print those out. Okay, so what he had talked about is, like what Angela said, cool, neutral, and warm. In the first column is the old shades. So that's a place to start. Okay? But some of them, so if you go down here to like N120, which is really a W120. Okay, first off, W120 is only available in luminous. That's why there's two stars. Which is so interesting. Okay, so let's go down to the next one. W130 is a warm color, but it also is good for neutrals.
Because they said that there's less pigmentation in it, it will now be able to go through the two different,
Kind of like what Lori had said.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what I
So
have that.
that will
olive,
help.
but
So
I'm
that
actually
was
a
the part I
neutral
was just
and
wanted to
choosing.
explain.
You like
Some
the
of them
neutral.
have
Yes,
a
I
neutral
matched
in
myself
there
as a
because
neutral
they
when
can
I-
be neutral or warm, or neutral or cool. So that's not to be confused. If it's in parentheses, that's like the secondary that you can try.
And I think people will understand, because some people didn't like when I said, okay, well, you're a pink undertone. They have issues with things. Or, oh, you're a yellow oh no, I'm not yellow.
Yeah.
Like older women.
And they
more
still
mature
like
women,
the cool, warm, and neutral because,
It doesn't mean one of the, it just
No.
means, oh, okay, I'm cool. Undertone, yeah, that's
but
okay.
for those of you that are my age or older, in the 70s, cool meant something completely different than what this cool means.
Right.
So
And
just
it was
because
like
they
the-
say they're autumn, fall, that sort of thing.
Right.
Just because they say they're cool doesn't mean their foundation is going to be cool undertone. Does that make sense?
I'm cool too, but it's fine.
That's right.
We'll just add this on.
Yeah.
Well,
But
and
what
some ladies don't want to be ivory, but I'm sorry, you're ivory.
right. They might think they are, but they would be wrong.
Yes.
Sherry,
That
did
Robert was
Robert, did you ask him about the 120 and why it's only in the luminous? Any idea?
Talk to Mary Kay Corporate. That's not an issue with me because I cannot wait for the Luminous to come out.
Right.
And most of my young people want Luminous now too. I sell very few mattes anymore.
See, and I'm the opposite.
I know, I sell a lot of
mattes.
mattes.
The trend is
Yeah.
going the other way, so.
Okay, that's cool. I was just curious.
But I like the idea of being
The
able
moisturizer.
to give you the luminous in the areas that you want.
Oh.
So you start with a matte, and then you can add that moisturizer. Teach your customers that, because some people would prefer, they don't want to be shiny all over,
Right.
but they would do a little bit of luminescence in certain areas, and they just add the moisturizer in those areas.
And then here were two suggestions that he had talked about, is if you are dry, put the CC cream on underneath and then put the new foundations on.
It would give them
Or you can mix a tiny bit of the
hydrating gel.
hydrating gel and or the illuminating drops if you still have some of the illuminating drops.
I love those.
Oh, I sold probably 20
Nice.
when they were out.
Oh my gosh,
Blew my mind.
I love them. They're amazing
People
for
love them.
eyeshadows too.
Yes, for lips.
Fun.
People put them everywhere.
I like it.
And then
Oh, yes. If you guys don't want to stock all the different foundations, then you can get this, it's a starter pack, and it has every single foundation, even all the way to bronze. It's $21. So if you don't want to stock all of them, you can get this and then stock the ones that you think you're going to be selling more. But if people still feel like, oh, you don't have the one that matches right, you could go back to these foil
But
ones.
buy it in a pack, there's a bundle, because if you buy each one individually, it's twice as
it's
much
twice
money.
as much.
Oh,
And there's
so
six
much.
So you're
samples
saving
on it.
half.
There's
It's
six
$21
samples.
is the
$21
starter pack.
in the
It's at the
bundle,
bottom.
$42 if you buy them individually
Oh,
to get
that's
the
really
same
good of
thing.
them. That's
And
really
then
good
one
of them.
more
For
thing on this
samples?
chart. You see some of the colors in bold? Those are the most common colors. So when they did testing, those were the most common shades out of how many thousands? Thousands and thousands, like 8,000 people.
Now here in Utah,
That's
you might
right.
sell
Yeah,
more
good,
of the
Angela.
Ivory C100
Yeah.
than this beige 220,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
But so
Those
just to
things are-
understand that, this is over the nation, not Utah, right?
This is around the world.
Yeah. So you have to take that with, some knowledge. So, do any of you have questions about this? C, neutral, or warm? No? Okay. Then the other thing, do you guys have any questions about the foundation that, specific things that you want me to go over? There are some new shades. What I love about, it's not on this one, but it's on Robert Jones's total conversion chart. He goes through and he shows what colors it would be under, and then it shows this is a new shade underneath it. So there's not there's nothing that really it used to be, but it's like a new shade. And so I actually was really curious, how many of you, it would be under that. How many of you have ever tried to match someone that's darker than a beige 2, but not a beige 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my daughter, okay? So a lot of times, if they don't want to mix the beige 1 and beige 5, which is what Robert usually would recommend.
and I
right?
never did it.
Exactly, because
Horrible.
people usually didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I would have customers, and usually they would prefer, I would match them with a beige 4, and it was close enough, but it was a pink undertone, which was the problem. But it was the
I just use
depth
CC.
level of it enough, anyway. So there is a shade for that. It's the beige 180W. No, beige W160. Sorry,
Yeah, that's
beige
what I was
W160.
Is your daughter so excited?
Yeah, she's like, oh, do you want to test it? I was like, yes, I actually, because I wanted to see if they had, that color. So, any last questions?
Where do we print off those things?
Julianne's website. You can talk to your director if she has an app. It's attached to that. And on Robert Jones's website, it's on that as well, on the bottom right corner. Robert Jones
You have to
Beauty.
go to customer service, the customer service page, and then it's at the
Okay.
bottom left. Now,
Robert
Oh,
Jones
is it
is
left?
on Mary Kay's.
no,
No,
Robert
customer
Jones'
service on
website.
Robert
Oh, I'm
Jones
sorry,
Beauty.
He still has his
Customer
new book
service.
on it. Right.
Yes.
So it's-
Okay.
you have to go to the customer service tab, and
And then
it's
it's
the
the
bottom
left. Okay. It used to be main page on the right, but and then if you do have any questions, seriously, just test them. Because they will be able to see, and when it disappears, then they're like, oh, I can't even see that. That's exactly the point, right? And you're supposed to match, don't match underneath here because this is a shadowed area of your face, right? So you match a little bit farther back here so you can see it onto your neck because it's supposed to match here. So you don't have to blend all the way down. Make sense?
And I think that's a great recommendation, Angela, that we need to all do 3 colors. Because maybe we're like, oh, I'm the Ivory 100, that's my right color. When in reality, maybe you're not really.
And if you go to the conversion chart and you say, I was this,
right,
and so I'm going to be this,
right,
you might be one of the new shades.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
you might have been in a totally
You might
different,
get a
cool
better
undertone and
match than
yeah.
you had.
So
I do.
So
Woo-hoo.
match. So anyway, we'll have a lot of fun, and I'm gonna bring up Sherry Kendall.
Okay, so while you're ordering, not only have we given you those most popular colors to start with, because let's face it, it can be a huge investment to stock all the colors, right? So based on just preliminary testing, it seems to be that the directors that I've been talking to that have been stripe testing on people, about 80% of the people fit within those actually 10 shades because I haven't even stocked the bronze. It's up to you if you want to stock the bronze. There's 14 highlighted shades I recommend you start with. If you want to just start with ivory and beige, there's 10. While you're ordering your new foundations, don't forget to order a lot of the blending brushes. And you want to order the samples as a bundle for $21, not individually.
When you say a lot of blending brushes, how many would that be? If you say
I think it depends on your customer base that you have already.
Totally.
Well, Mila just had a cute, cool thought. You should definitely be sending one around so they can touch it. And I would even send a liquid one around, a sponge one around, like.
It's so unique.
Here's your 3 options. These are 3 different tools you can use.
I also recommend you order a foundation holder. This is only $8. And this will hold your first 14. Or if you choose to just do the ivory and beige, I do have bronze as a, because the company sent these to me. I just haven't stocked them in my inventory yet. So these are like the most common 14 colors. But a couple things I want to teach you in labeling. First of all, the font. Is anyone else besides me over 12 and have a hard time seeing the teeny numbers? So what I recommend doing is creating labels that are clear so that you can put it over this. Now for just mattes, it's not going to matter, but once our luminous comes out, you need to see, is it purple or pink? So if it's a clear label, you can see through it, and at a glance, you know that's your matte. And then I've labeled mine with cool, warmer, neutral first, CW or N, ivory, beige, or bronze, and then the number. So I can see easily. Ashley.
Have you seen the little, they usually use them at yard sales
Yeah.
at the dollar store? Yes, that.
Okay, so that's the other thing that I've done that's making it really easy is that I have labeled with just the yard sale stickers, which we have for you today. Yes! We have these for you that you can choose which color is going to be your cool, which colors, I did pink, the warm and the neutral. So at a glance, I can just, it's right there, W, but I can just see really easy, okay? Then the other thing that I did was based on what the old color is for that color, I wrote that on it.
Smart.
Now, if it's a new color and it doesn't replace anything, I just wrote new. So that way, if you ask those questions Angela asked about burning, then tanning, you will know where to start. You can easily look for your stickers. And if they're like, oh, I was an Ivory 3, oh, well, this is a really good place to start then, right? So how easy is that?
Love it.
So we've got stickers for you tonight. Yay. Who's excited? Okay. If you order 2 of these, just FYI, it will hold all of the shades if you wanted to do that. Yeah, on InTouch with your section 2, with your order. This is only $8. Isn't it awesome? It has a magnetic close. Love it. Okay. Have you covered it all? Are your heads swimming?
Only a little.
Do you feel like that gives you a place to start? Nothing empowers you more than just trying it. Like once I literally did what she said, locked myself in the bathroom and tried a bunch of shades on me, tried the brushes, really played with it. It's so simple to me now, but at first, when I opened everything, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a foreign language. One other thing, we've got these postcards here. They're 10 cents each. If you'd like some, they're great for reorder bags, or you can pop them in the mail to your customers. And it says you're invited to find your perfect match. So, okay, time for workshops. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to make sure each of you are stripe tested. So you'll know your perfect shade when you leave. But I would love for you to each have a picture with your at least three colors on, and stand by the window so direct sunlight can come in. And that way you can text it out and say, like Angela said, have you found your perfect shade? Let me show you a couple of examples. Okay, here's Carrie Carlisle. She's got them numbered 1, 2, 3. And I can pass this around if you want. Once you see it on someone else, it's so obvious. These foundations are so easy to spot. Here's her husband, Matt, with his 3 shades, and one of her consultants. Hers says, got my TimeWise 3D foundation match, did you? Ivory, warm, 130. Carrie says, can I use your face? I need 60 matches of the new TimeWise 3D foundations. And Matt says, find your perfect match with a custom consultation. TimeWise 3D foundation. So you could text that out to your customers. Super cute. The old foundations I felt like went on really ghastly light, and it took 2 or 3 minutes to really
Warm.
just settle in into the true shade. These I feel like are a little bit opposite. I feel like they go on a little dark, and then after a minute it's like, oh, it like disappears in your skin. It's so cool. Just a heads up, so don't be alarmed about that. Okay, so are you guys ready?
Yes.
So